You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Rookie Blue After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Rookie Blue After Show.
Oh, I like this song, Marissa. Good choice. Welcome, welcome everyone to the AFTERBUZZ TV Rookie Blue After Show, Season 5, Episode 6, Two Truths and a Lie. I am your host, Tiona Hobson, and I have two lovely co-hosts joining me tonight who I will let introduce themselves.
I'm Yvonne Maisonette.
And what's up, guys? I'm Marisa Serafini.
And special alert for everyone. We are all wearing blue tonight. Yes. I remembered to wear blue. Yvonne did, and of course Marissa is always in blue. So Marissa, my birthday gift to you is wearing blue.
Thank you, T. That's the nicest gift ever.
I know.
I swear.
Guys, Marissa's birthday is tomorrow, Friday, July 18th.
Birthday.
Make sure you wish her a happy birthday because she works hard and she deserves it. Did I make you blush?
I'm blushing.
She's blushing.
Yes.
She's
that was
blushing.
my plan.
And she's blushing in blue.
Yeah, now I'm blue and red.
Blue and red. All right, well, tonight's episode was another exciting Rookie Blue. We got our not-so-rookies working cases, and it picks up right where it left off last week with the Gowdy case. We found Brian Gowdy in the trunk of his car, beaten up and dead. So now we're picking up right there, and we know that he's the victim, that he had taken someone out for a test drive in his car. It was an XJ8. I don't know what that means.
It's a fancy car.
It's a fancy car.
Nice one.
And then he was last seen at an ATM taking out money because remember last week he had been taking out his daily maximum for weeks now, and he was about to move to Costa Rica, but no one really knew why. Turns out his brother who reported him, though, his twin brother. They left that little detail out last week. So
they did.
He comes walking into the into the offices, and we're like, wait, isn't that the victim?
Like,
He's alive?
He looks exactly like the guy that's pinned on the board.
And you know me, because you know how other races are always like, man, all white people look alike. All black people look alike.
Right?
It's like, I was like, wait, am I tripping, or do they
look
actually look alike?
Do they? There was that moment, right?
There was
when he
that
walked
moment.
in, like, wait, is that him?
Yeah, I was like,
What's
wait,
happening?
Look on the board, look at him. Okay, yes, same guy. So this then, we know that his brother, we find out, what did we find out? Sorry, my notes are all over the place right now.
Yeah.
We find out first that his brother was the former owner of the car. And they put a search out for guys who were in sedans because they had that doctor who also has an XJX that was for
And that's
sale.
how they came across Sean.
Yeah, that's how they came across Sean. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm picking up on my notes
Yes.
now, guys. Sorry, they're all over the place.
That's how they came across Sean, right?
Yes.
And he is the one that they were, it was like 11 guys when they ran the plates that were similar. There were 11 white guys, right?
Yeah, and they narrowed it down
kind
based off of the description that the other owner of the XJ8 gave based on who he test drove with. They met at the same gas station and everything. So Sean Harrison matches the description. They go over there. Gail and Nick go over to his house. He has just woken up. It's like the middle of the day. What? And you're a contractor, so it's not like
You'd be up,
you're
right?
working nights or something. You know,
should be up.
So you should be up. He lets the cops come inside. They want to take him and just ask him some questions. And he's like, well, I mean, can I get dressed first? They get him down to the precinct. And
What did you think of Sean, actually? found when they first saw him at his house, he was very creepy and shady.
He's a little weird. Like,
Yeah.
definitely, at first, you kind of like, I mean, as the show progressed, I feel like we can kind of tell something's up. But in the beginning, he was just
In the beginning, I just thought, why is this guy asleep in the middle of the day? He's looking for his wife. And I'm like, is she a nurse? And so she was working nights or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe he got in late because of work. But then you find out he's a contractor. I'm like, most
9 to 5,
contracting
right?
jobs are over with pretty early. So I just didn't understand where he was coming from.
But I thought he was sincere at first because when he was like, I thought he was just protecting Larry, the basement guy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So in the beginning, I kind of was like, oh, he's just protecting him. So that kind of came later when it was like, oh.
Yeah, because...
But yeah, and also it established the fact that Sean didn't really care too much about his wife and her whereabouts too. So it kind of showed that, yeah, he's not really fully paying attention to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of aloof in a way.
This is true.
But we know that as he's being questioned by Andy and Sam, you know, he's not giving them anything. He's like, it wasn't me. Like,
but he never brought up Larry.
Never brought up Larry. His wife shows up and brings up Larry. Like, oh, well, you know that a guy who just got out of jail is living in our basement, right?
We're like, wait a minute. Why is he protecting him?
And apparently they were in foster care system together. So they're kind of like blood brothers where, you know, Larry and Sean always takes care of Larry. Every time he screws up and he comes back out, he stays with them, and his wife has no idea really like what he's capable of, but you can tell that she didn't want him staying there, but she couldn't say no.
She's not loving Larry.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations, you know, he's in the basement, she's not feeling him, but, you know, sort of brother.
Yeah.
Well, you got to look out for your own too.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a place to go, yeah, you're going to be hospitable.
Yeah, of course.
We'd all do that, I guess.
I guess we all have that one person.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if Marissa got out of jail and needed somewhere to stay,
you'd house her.
Vouch for her. Like,
She'd go in your
vouch for
basement,
her.
right?
Yeah.
Aw, thank you, Gina.
Yeah, you could
sweet.
stay in my basement.
That'd be nice of you.
Yeah.
I think you would do
Well,
that.
it's better than the streets.
Yeah.
So I will give it that.
Yeah,
You might even
exactly.
cover for her, so.
Once we know about Larry, Larry Chisholm, then everyone's trying to find Larry. Larry is missing. The sedan is missing. No one knows where he is. He did show up to his parole meeting. So when they said he showed up to that, that's when I started thinking maybe Larry's not as guilty because unless he's just really smart and he shows up at his parole meeting like, all right.
And that's what Gail said, right?
Yeah.
Gail was like, he's showing up, so then no one's going to question that he's missing for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
she
it gives
knew
him
he
a
was going
2-week
there.
head start to get out of town.
Yes.
It is smart, but at the same time, I'm thinking, what guilty person thinks I got to go to my parole?
Yeah, I got to make it.
Yeah, I got to go to my
I guess
parole
to try
meeting.
to not get busted, I guess.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
most criminals ain't that smart.
Not so strategic.
They did like some tracking of his cell phones and stuff, and they found out that he had sent 2 text messages, or was it phone calls?
He was calling
The-
these illegal
Illegal cell
cell
phones
phones
inside of the
in the
Milburn Penitentiary, where he had just
like 6 different phone numbers, right?
where
Or
he had just been
3?
released from. Which, I mean, I watch a lot of Orange is the New Black,
I
so
know,
I
I
know
was saying
everything
that-
about jail.
I know. I'm feeling like I know stuff too. Like, wait a
and
minute.
this must be a real laid-back prison for them to be getting some illegal cell phones.
Yeah,
Like
in
that
there.
well,
many.
phone calls into the prison, not outbound. It's
Yeah, you're
outgoing,
right.
then
Yeah.
it's into
'Cause
the-
usually you
Well, 'cause it
can't
was
call
to
a cell phone.
Yeah.
They can call you, even when you've got your illegal cell phone, right?
Yeah.
Because we all know now, because we watch Orange is the New
we
Black.
watch Orange is the New Black.
We can tell you about prison.
I can tell you everything, what the colors mean, how to own a kitchen. Anyway, that's off subject.
Okay, so the cell
Yeah.
phones, they were calling the cell phones, and then Sam and Andy go to Sam. Okay, they're in the office, and they're like, okay, we're gonna track these cell phone numbers. Sam, they're in the office, and Andy's looking at him like he's being weird, and she can tell that he doesn't want her to go with him down to the prison, but she's like, I'm gonna go anyways.
Yeah, she
remember,
sure
because
did.
he was trying to dodge her, and she was like, hold on a second, I got donuts and coffee. And she made sure she came because she could see something was up, that he was hiding something.
Hiding, and he was hiding
For a
something.
good reason.
For a good reason.
Yeah,
We're going to get to that a little bit later, though, because I want to know everyone's feelings about that whole thing. But it's at this point, too, after we learn that, you know, Andy and Sam are going to go to the prison to question not his friends, but the guys he associated with in prison, I guess, to see if they may, because they're thinking now that maybe he had a debt to pay. So he owed someone, because there's no connection between him and the victim. And so it's trying to figure that out. And then that's when they find out that Jim Gowdy, the twin brother, was the former owner of the car, so maybe he was the intended victim because it switched over 4 months ago, but that's not actually the case. They're able to track Larry down at the bus station,
and that was really cute.
That was
like, if what did he say? Would you believe, or if I said I was an Olympic triathlete, would you just not skip the chase and let me arrest you, or whatever he said? It was really cute.
Yeah, it was really cute because Nick is that way.
Yeah, that was cute.
That doesn't work. Larry tries to run, but boom, Gail's right there.
She's right there. That was a nice little...
Stops that real quick, and I love Gail. I love Gail because she doesn't take crap from anyone, including like these... Like, Larry was a big guy, and she's a small, petite woman, and she wasn't scared at all of him. Like,
and he turned right around, too, and she's like, turn around. You know, she arrested him right there. No problem.
Let's go. Right, Marissa? That's like Marissa.
Is it that? Thank you.
You're tall. I mean, you're small but mighty.
I like to think so.
You're mighty.
No, not too much. I loved how Gail just added like so much humor tonight. I mean,
she was
again the surprising comic relief.
Yes, that was nice.
Even she had the line at the beginning, like, "I don't do boys."
That
anymore.
was a good one. She's like, he's gonna frisk you, or he's gonna check. I don't do boys anymore.
And she doesn't.
No, she doesn't.
But there's a whole lot of doing boys on USA's new show, Satisfaction, that premieres tonight at 10 p.m. And we have a little message for you.
Tonight on USA Network.
I love my wife.
Is love enough to keep a relationship going?
What does love really mean?
Can I have sex with one person for the rest of my life?
This summer's most provocative new series.
What if having it all isn't enough?
I just want to feel alive again.
I want to feel
I want to
appreciated.
experience more.
What else is out there?
Why can't I tell him what I
Is there
want?
something more?
What does love really
Am I the
mean?
only one who feels like this?
Am I satisfied?
Satisfaction, a postmodern love story. Premieres tonight at 10, 9 Central on USA Network.
Well, that sounds very fun. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I'm
Lots
really
of
actually
drama and
I like that kind of stuff.
yeah,
USA Network.
USA.
Yeah, they're
characters welcome, man. Back to our case though. At the prison, Andy and Sam are interviewing these guys, and they talk to some guy named Remy Legrand, who all he wants to talk about is how he's supposed to get Larry's radio.
Yeah, when he thought Larry was dead, he was like, "Yo, can I get his radio?" Because he said
he would want me to have it.
And that's very important.
It's very important because when you're in prison, there's not much to do. So if you have a radio, then you have something to link you to the outside world and to, I don't know, I'm being very dramatic about this. But
for him, it seemed like it was very important. But anyways.
Yeah, they also talked to his supervisor at the call center who said nothing but good things about Larry, how he was a hard worker. Most guys just kind of check out and take no for an answer, and you know, Larry was actually into it, and he was really trying to change his life around. Yeah. So what we learn about Larry and what Larry's being accused of doesn't exactly match up at this point.
Yeah.
Like, were you guys feeling that way too?
No, I did, because they said he was a changed man, and then they were asking, I'm not sure which guy, the older gentleman, you know, would you believe him if he did it, or would you say he wouldn't have done it? And he would say he would kind of on the fence, like he would think that he didn't do it. But I can't remember what he said in the end about if he didn't do it, if Larry didn't do it. But anyways, it seemed like he was reformed, and everyone believed that he just wanted to get out of there. He was clean. Did they say he was like by the book now? Maybe
yeah.
A
he
man
just
of
didn't
God
seem like that person. And after they talk to those guys and they get the call that, you know, Larry's been picked up, or they found him and located him, Sam's rushing to get out of there.
Yeah.
And they don't even talk to Larry's sponsor yet, who
Wonder why.
Andy finds out is actually Swarek's dad.
Yeah.
Because he tried to
Swarek.
he tried to kind of get out of there, like, okay, so we're good, let's go.
We got
and
all the
then
information
the
we
security guard came in, and he was like, oh, you know, so you guys done? We have a few more guys, and then he read off the name, and that's how Andy kind of was like Swarek.
Snap.
Was it Joe Swarek or whatever?
Jay.
And so that was kind of like, okay. And then they went back into the car.
Yeah,
And she was like, I know why you're here or not here?
Why
are you
you're
leaving?
Why you're trying to get out of here.
Yeah.
And, you know, she knows that his dad's there and that there are feelings. And
I loved how they had a real heart-to-heart, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we had Andy's dad with his drunk and alcoholism, and now we have Sam's dad with his problems. I mean,
And Sam
it's
opens up.
something that really, you know, makes them similar to and have that commonality, and they can talk about it. And you know, they're both of them. They obviously. That's not something you like brag to the world about, like your parents' problems, but it is something that gets them to talk to each other because they avoid so much and put up so many many
Barriers,
walls,
yeah.
And especially Sam.
So this was big for
Sam.
Sam. This was
Yeah.
like he opened up. It took her a little, you know, she had to prod him a little
bit.
but he did.
Yeah. And we'll get
breakthrough.
into that whole specific, them getting into emotions in a little bit because I want to dedicate a lot of time to that because
Yes.
we all have feelings
Yeah.
about Sam having feelings.
Yes.
But in the meantime, Larry gets to the precinct. Gail and Nick get him in there, and Gail in this moment starts telling him like, oh, well, you know, your friend Sean's telling us everything and he's in with the detectives, and Larry's freaking out about it, and he breaks the window, which I thought that those windows are supposed to be like bulletproof because
like
it's
handled
like
that window.
And I mean, not to say that he did it easily, but he, after a couple knocks,
It was like 3.
Yeah, the whole door looked like it was about to fall off, and then he breaks the glass and stabs himself in the neck.
That was just unexpected. And
Like,
but
and-
he seemed very upset when she was like, oh, Sean told us. He was like, no, he didn't. Like, he
Yeah.
knew. He's like, he couldn't have told you. And they're like, oh, he's in with the detectives. And you could see he was very upset because I think he felt like he would never betray him.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't know, did he really? I mean, he was talking. Sean was. But it was kind
Sean
of like
didn't even bring up
they
Larry.
found out
No.
through other means, but they told him that, which was kind of, I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess when it comes to police work, it doesn't matter, but it wasn't fair. So anyways, he gets so upset.
Upset.
He wants to die, I guess.
Yeah, which is sad because I don't know, this is where being a cop is good and bad because you have to use those tactics to get people to talk.
Yeah.
But then it was because it wasn't true.
Yeah.
And this guy is kind of mentally unstable, and, you know, Gail brought it up, and then, like, that drove him to do
Yeah.
that, and it's just so sad. Which, I'm sorry, this is jumping ahead a little bit. Did anyone ever say if Larry lived or died? Because last we heard he was in critical
He
condition.
lived. Right? Because I heard
Larry
lived. Because I
Larry?
heard she said he tried to commit
tried
suicide.
to
Yeah.
commit suicide. He was in.
But then
in
Tracy
critical-
texted and
Yeah.
said critical condition, so I just wasn't sure if they gave us a status after that of like
Maybe
he's
we'll find out
stable.
next week.
Maybe.
Maybe it's an
knows?
ongoing thing.
Okay. Anyway, that was totally sidebar. But also what's happening at this point is, you know, they tell Sean what happened. Sean's like, okay, and then they're like, okay, we got to go do your final paperwork. Tracy takes his wife Kelly to go get some coffee from the lounge because that's where the better coffee is. And as they're walking by, the board's up there with pictures of the victim and Gowdy and dead and like all that stuff. And she sees it and she kind of pauses. And Tracy's like, do you know him? And she says no. Doesn't look
Which you
familiar.
know is a clear
Which
lie.
you know
because
The way
is a lie.
she
her behavior completely changed.
Completely
she's like
changed.
no, and then she had to go.
Her poker face is not that great.
Nope. Chris comes up and is like, hey, like, everything okay? And Tracy's like, yeah, but I think that she knows more than she's letting on. Andy and Sam go back into the precinct to finally talk to Jay because he was the sponsor, so maybe he has some information. And he tells them, you know, eventually after a lot of prodding, which we'll get into, that Larry did call him after Gowdy was killed. He said that Sean was pushing him and manipulating him again, and he just wanted to get away, and that he talked about offing this guy because he saw his wife having
to
an
a
affair. Yeah, going to a motel with Gowdy, and that he was going to kill him, and he had Sean test driving every car that was out there to kind of
To get to
this specific car because he knew it was for sale because of the tracking device in the front window that he saw. And
So Larry was kind of being pushed into
Yeah,
this whole thing,
and-
manipulated.
yeah, and one thing that Jay also says is that Larry was like the nicest guy ever, but he had like the mental stability. I forget what exactly he said, but
Yeah.
it wasn't good, and he was easily manipulated, and especially someone like Sean, who he's known his whole life, Like, clearly he's going to do what he wants.
He was probably the guy who controlled everything always. Sean
Yeah.
was. And then Larry did what he wanted him to. And so it came down to this, and now he's being manipulated into doing
Things
whatever
that he doesn't wanna
Sean
do.
said. Maybe he didn't want to, but he didn't have the wherewithal to say no or whatever.
And so he tried to get away from it, and that didn't work. And he just wanted to change around his life. So that's really sad.
Yeah.
But now that we know that Kelly was having an affair, changes the
Changes
whole
everything.
situation.
Yeah.
And we know that Sean is the one who killed Gowdy. Now we're like, okay, let's get over there real quick because they just left together. We got to save this chick.
Yes.
Well, Tracy, Nick, Gail, and Chris show up at the house. They enter the house because the door is just unlocked.
Happens
'cause
to be unlocked.
it's Canada.
They don't want their...
Everyone's
They don't
friendly. It's cool. They come in, they're talking, they're like, hey, Sean, where are you? We're in the house. Turn the corner. Kelly's sitting over Sean's dead body with a cleaning,
With her gloves
scrubbing,
on.
with her gloves on,
Kitchen gloves.
scrubbing the blood out of the carpet.
And it shows that like she wasn't mentally all there. Like she was obviously hysterical in shock, but it also seemed on some level that like mentally she wasn't stable.
Yeah, and she may not have been so innocent. I mean, she wasn't innocent, but in this whole, the way it was all orchestrated, I'm wondering...
And
she
the
just-
fact, and the fact that we didn't actually even see the killing that. It had already happened. So what happened beforehand?
And did he
even
punch
she
her?
was
She could've
beaten
punched
up,
herself.
but who knows?
She did
She
say
might have
that they.
manipulated this.
I mean, she was in such a state of shock, but she did say that they got in the car and he started hitting her, and she just kind of curled and took it, and they got home, and he was really like yelling at her
The
a
knife
lot,
was
and she
right
was like,
there.
all I could see was the knife, and she kind of breaks down. It's like, oh my god, what did I?
And it
what
felt
did I
like, she
do?
said it felt like, what's the boyfriend, the one who died?
Gowdy?
It felt like
Brian.
Gowdy hit Brian. She's like, the knife was just there, and it felt like Brian had put it there for me.
Because that's the other thing she kept saying, that, you know, she thought that she missed a part of the plan because Brian and her were running away to Costa Rica together to be together
got
to
all
get her
messed
away
up.
from her crazy husband. And I'm not gonna lie, in this scenario, in this thing, I wasn't mad that she killed her husband.
Well,
I was like, you know
did
what?
he beat
I was
her
like, go,
down? I
Kelly.
mean,
Yeah.
it looks like he beat her down, but did he beat her down? But yeah, this was a scenario. Of
I
self-defense.
believe her whole situation, because I think that if she was trying to get away from him, there was a reason for it. And if he was able to let Larry take the fall for him and like manipulate Larry to do things in the past, I think that I think a lot of Larry's prison time was actually Larry taking the fall for Sean.
It might have been.
Yeah, good chances it was. I'm glad that she didn't get charged with as much as she could have. I mean, they kind of were lenient with her, and she got second degree murder instead of
Yeah.
first.
Right, they said that.
It wasn't premeditated.
Yeah.
And they'll probably argue self-defense.
And then
which-
I mean, if you'd kill someone, you probably would lose it and start cleaning. She covered him neatly. She was just trying to tidy up the scene
have
because
it
she was
covered.
just freaked out.
She didn't
but
want to give them the knife because she's like, oh, it's disgusting. Let me
Dirty.
clean it for you. I'm like, girl, they want it messy. It's evidence.
Yeah, yeah.
But so at least we know how that wrapped up. Of course, we still don't know if Larry is dead or alive currently, but for the most part,
He
he could be alive still, and Kelly will be in jail. And her lover is dead.
Yes.
But that sucks. But I want to talk about Sam and Andy now,
Yes.
because this is what I really wanted to get into. What did we think of Sam? We finally meet Sam's dad, okay? So on their car ride going to the prison, Andy's trying to get Sam to open up. She's like, hey, let's play Two Truths and a Lie. We used to play it on car rides all the time, me and my dad, and like we really connected that way. And Sam's just being sourpuss Sam that he always is.
Yes, I don't want to play a game.
I don't want to play a game. Why do we have to talk? Why do we have to open up? Why do we have to have feelings? I'm a man.
Well, it's so hard. I mean, I think I said it last week that relationship would be exhausting. To be, the person who always has to try to open someone else up and not having, it's more that one-way kind of
and it is exhausting.
relationship, and it should be a mutual, it should be a compromise, and
she had to go through
Andy's doing all the
hoops.
work.
Yeah, and I'm glad that she said it to him. She said, I'm not doing this again, Sam. Like, every time we get good, something comes up where it has to get serious,
you
shut down. And then they have that fight about, well, you left for 6 months to go undercover. And she's like, we weren't even together then, but my friend just died. And it's like going back, it's like all these old wounds and all the fights that they didn't ever have came out in that moment.
Blocks them.
Yeah, and I think it was good for them and it helped them. And then he goes inside and he talks to his dad and in front of her, and it's just awkward and weird. And like, how would you feel about your dad talking about his conjugal visits?
Oh, I know. Okay, that was what was that?
creepy.
So we know that set the tone. Like, okay, this guy's a jerk. He's not cool, because he was talking about he has like, some young chick coming in giving him visits, and
conjugal
that's your stepmom, and very inappropriate.
He was a real creep.
You can let us know. I think that was set up so that the writers did that to let us know whose side we need to be on.
Yeah,
just in case you were wondering,
this is it.
He's a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so Sam finally gets fed up and storms out of there. His dad also brings up to Andy, asks if Sam ever told her the story of how he ended up in jail that time. She's like, no, we don't hear the story at first. But Sam storms out of there, and Andy asks for 5 minutes alone with him, gets the information that they need, and when he asks Andy, what Sam has told her about him before, she goes, this is the first I've ever heard of you.
That was great. He's like, so what has he told you about me? And then she was just like, it's the first I've heard. So nothing.
So nothing. You're that unimportant to your son.
We don't talk about you, yeah.
We don't talk about you. He doesn't talk about you.
But it was really, like, pretty.
Really
I love the ending.
Like, because I know that I'm a strong Andy and Nick being together, and Nick's the better guy for her, and Swarek is so, like, sourpuss. But after meeting his dad, he makes so much more sense to me. And I know that it's a lot of his backstory that, like, they've told us before, but we've never seen it. So it doesn't really sink into me, because, like, we hear his dad was a drunk and was, abusive to his mom, and we heard those stories, but we never got to see anything.
So now we can really...
So now I really understand. I still think Nick is the better guy, but they can work through their stuff together now.
I agree. And then also, knowing more about Jay and how he has affected Sam, because we see Jay throughout the whole interaction, he was saying all these things to make Sam feel the less of man. And then I love how Andy finished it off and be like, yes, I know you're patronizing and condescending and whatnot, but he doesn't care about you. And in the end, Sam's winning, not you. So you can say all these things to make yourself feel better and sound like the better guy here, but no, you're not.
And I love when he told his dad, he was like, when I was younger, I was scared of you. And he's like, then I was angry. And he's like, and then I was worried I would be like you. And he goes, but now I'm free. And that was really, that was an important moment for him, too.
Yeah, that was a big step for Sam. And I think that we'll start to see a new Sam. And maybe this time the Sam-Andy relationship won't make me so angry, because they're already working at their biggest problem, which was Sam opening up and communicating. Because when Andy got mad at him in the car and was like, I've told you everything about my life and I know nothing about yours. And she's like, I just want to know you. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I feel your pain. Like, I feel like...
True, because the audience, ourselves, we don't really even know Sam. Yeah. So it's great that they actually showed us, because sometimes you do have to face your past and all your fears and stuff, and then face it, realize it, get over it, and resolve everything, and, and then move forward. And I think we're at that point.
Yeah.
So hopefully it works out better for them. Their road trip back home, Sam is actually more opened this time around, and he tells Andy the story about how his dad ended up in jail that last time. They wanted to get him for a robbery, right? Like a misdemeanor or something. And he had an alibi, and the alibi was that he was watching Millionaire with his son, because that was the way him and his dad, that's what they did together.
They always watched
they both wanted to be millionaires for different reasons. But when the cops came to verify the alibi, Sam told him it wasn't true, which we found out was a lie, because it was true. Sam lied about the alibi thing to get his dad put in jail for the misdemeanor. His dad was terrorizing him. Yeah, because his dad was terrorizing him. And then while he was in prison, he got in a fight and killed a man, and boom, that's 20 years right there.
So his dad would have had 6 months at first, and then he ended up getting 20 years. And, you know, it's crazy because he wanted his dad away, so he lied. And even for Andy to ask, well, was it true? That was interesting because you would just kind of assume it was true that, you know, no, I wasn't with my dad. And he said, well, was it true? Or who's telling the truth? Andy asked him, your dad or you? And he said, my dad. And that was like a zinger, right?
Did that make you guys think any less of Sam?
No, not really, honestly, because now knowing who Jay is and the kind of guy that he is, maybe he did. Yeah, I mean,
he was protecting his family.
Even though he was technically innocent, it was just, you know, justice being served in a way.
But it's like taking justice in your own. I don't think less of him, but that's a little. I mean, he was a kid also, so that's another thing, right? He was a kid, so.
Well, they say kid, but
younger.
We don't know how old that is. So like, kid could be 11, 12. Like, you kind of know.
How young was he? But it's still like, you know, the man ended up going to jail for 20-something years. So, I mean, if he's a bad guy, I guess it is, like you said, justice.
Yeah.
But he's Sam's a cop, and that's not necessarily morally. But we don't know what all the things his dad did to him. So, I mean,
I mean,
it's still like a surprise.
Yeah. But we do now, having Sam actually admit that he was lying, and the truth is now out there. I mean, so much truth and honesty in this episode. Hello.
Yeah.
But now Sam at that point where he does know he was at fault for his father and actually helped probably make his father the way he is. You know, it shows that he really is accepting his past and moving forward.
Yeah, and he told his dad, his dad said, I do not forgive you. Because he said, I forgive you, Dad. He goes, I don't forgive you. And he goes, I'm not sorry. I don't regret it. Like, he did not regret putting his dad in jail. So that tells me that his dad was horrible. It was, you know, I don't know if it was just drinking. Like, it might have been, physical abuse and some other stuff. Because for him to say, my conscience is clear, I'm free, and I do not feel bad.
Well, wasn't there that moment, I think they said last season, where Sam was talking about, like, his father when he was younger locked him in a shed and whatnot, and abused him in that way.
So there we have it. It was
like
probably
his dad wasn't guilty.
His dad was not a good guy.
Yeah,
he needed
his dad
to be
wasn't
in jail.
guilty of that crime, but he was guilty of other things that he wasn't getting put
and
away long enough for.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not Sam's fault that he went and killed a guy while he was in prison. Like, Sam put him away for 6 months.
And he was protecting his mom and his sister. At the end of the day, he was getting him out of the house.
And in the long run, it was only supposed to be 6 months.
Yeah, that's not his
dad
that's,
screwed that up on his own without the help of Sam.
Going and killing people.
You can't really blame
Hold
Sam for
Sam.
that. But do you guys think this is the last that we've seen of Jay? Now that the truth is out there?
I mean,
has been spoken.
It kind of felt like they wrapped that up in a way when, you know, we get Sam saying, I forgive you, making maybe amends in that way, or just like trying to move forward. It doesn't seem like we're going to see Jay anymore, unless we need more information from
the
him
past,
unless he comes up for parole.
Yeah. Or unless Sam's sister comes back into the picture, and then we need a nice little family
We'll see him again,
reunion.
but that part is like, at least we know now, but we might see him again.
Because it also, I mean, it looks like it. If you look at his dad and you do the math, and like if Sam was a kid, like if we're saying 11 or 12, 20 years would put him at like
soon.
30, 31. Like, Sam's at that age now where it should be time for his dad to start getting out
open to that.
Yeah, I think that this is a great opening for that scenario of Sam's dad getting out and coming back and maybe trying to ruin Sam's life for ruining his.
Oh yeah, because this is probably something that's going to come up because he said, I don't feel bad, and he's like, I do not forgive you.
Yeah,
and he no matter what he did to his son, he's still like, I do not forgive you.
The door is wide open, and I'm just saying, he might be coming in to terrorize some stuff.
Yeah,
but we shall see. The epic. Oh, and then of course Sam and Andy. Once you get Sam opened up, he's just like a can of worms. You can't shut that guy up, huh? Truth's all over the place in the bedroom. Him and Andy getting little
they were
sexy
having fun.
time.
It was playful.
It's playful. It was.
They're playing their truth game.
Yeah, they're playing their truth game, which he's really bad at because he always forgets to lie.
He just does truth.
Yeah.
But he's opening up now.
Yeah. It's cute, right?
He's
and he seemed to feel
stuff.
good. Like when they were playing around in the bed, you could tell it was a relief for him. And he said, Andy makes me feel alive. Yeah. And it's because she brought it out and he felt relieved. He got it off his chest.
And he just, I don't know, he just looked happier.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't look like he was that dark individual anymore. Like he
needs
looks
her to
light and happy. So hopefully things go well for them. Things are not going well for Tracy right now.
No.
Because Dex is still fighting her for custody of Leo, and he didn't show up for their mediation, which looks good for Tracy because, you know, this guy is the one who's saying he's the better fit to parent. But where is he? But where are you when it matters? Turns out that he got into a bar fight the night before, and he's at the hospital. So he calls Tracy to come pick him up from the hospital. Tracy can't go, but Steve Peck is right there. And remember, we're suspicious of him because he made that call to his friend to dig up some dirt. So I thought he offers to go pick Dex up from the hospital. I was like, he's going to pick him up, but like Dex is never going to be found again. Like, it's one of those kind of, like, his body's going to end up in a river at the bottom of it. Like, that's all she wrote on that.
Yeah.
And isn't Steve doing undercover research on Dex too?
Yeah, he's up to something.
He knows
we don't know what. Or hopefully he's not like bad and gonna set him up, because that's what I was thinking. That phone call that he made, I don't know if it was last episode or the one before, it was like a little suspect. Yeah. It wasn't like, you know, I'm just doing my job. It was kind of like he's a shady, you know, he's up to no good type.
Yeah, I think there was an ulterior motive. Be like, you know what, I'll go pick him up, and, you know, I'm going to go check him out.
He might have even had something to do with the bar fight. How do you know he didn't send that guy to whoop some Dex, you know?
Yeah, well, according to Dex, it was the guy wanted his wallet.
Yeah, so that could have been Steve setting that whole thing up just to, you know, because it happened to fall on the day he's supposed to go to mediation.
Ooh, I didn't even think of that.
Orchestrating some stuff over there for Tracy.
Yeah, making Tracy
Steve's
look
smart enough to pull that off.
And then that's ultimately not going to be very attractive.
But what I was really mad about with Dex was that we get there and he doesn't want to leave with Steve. He's like, oh, I'll just call my brother. Excuse you. You and Tracy are not together anymore. You should have called your brother from the start.
He's not having it. He doesn't want him in the picture.
Yeah.
He wants him out of the picture.
He wants him gone. I was just like,
this
Dex,
is kind of
really, like, that's pathetic, first of all, because, I'm going to call my ex who I was supposed to meet at mediation today to come get me from the hospital.
He's still attached. You know, they were, and in the end, I mean.
Yeah, they have that conversation.
Yeah, and it's kind of sweet because they did, that's who he would always call. So no matter what happens, they're divorced now or we're separating, whatever, but that's who he still is calling because that's who he always called.
And I think it's nice, you know, he came into the work and Tracy kind of calms him down and it's like, hey, look, why are we fighting? Like, regardless of what we've been through in the past, we're not together anymore, but we have a beautiful son who we both love. So instead of fighting each other, let's work together to get, you know, his life on track and focus on him.
Memories.
And we have the memories. And I thought that was so sweet, but you saw them up there smiling and being happy, and you see Steve Peck outside looking in, like,
because there was a little moment because she was like, you know, we share these memories, and what if I forget? She's like, then you remind me, like, don't go die on me, because she was worried when she was like, I was happy you didn't show up for mediation, but I was so worried. And so there's a little softness there, like you see her softening for a moment towards him, right?
Well, they are family too. I mean, it's in the end, it's for Leo.
Yeah,
not for them.
She wants her son to have his dad.
Yeah. And then we have Chloe and Chloe and Dove, who are working together. Chloe's still stuck at the desk, but they're pushing papers. And they get
She's getting cabin fever.
Yeah, she's getting cabin fever.
Girl. I know what that's
Dove brings up Wes, and they haven't talked about the whole Wes thing. And Chloe's angry about, you know, being shot, Wes leaving that blood clot in her neck, and, you know, Dove not fighting for her. And Dove's like, no, calm down, pump the brakes on that one. Like, he was your husband. I tried to get in the room.
Being a good guy.
He wouldn't let me in there, and so they finally get to talk out their problems, and so
it was cute. It was mellow too. It wasn't too intense.
Yeah, because we know Chloe can get really intense sometimes. So luckily, it wasn't anything too intense. And then our comedic relief for the night was Nick and Gail, because Gail wants to sign Nick up for online dating, which is hilarious because everyone wants to sign everyone up for online dating these days. So she's in the squad car trying to take pictures of him, and they're just not showing up that great at all. But you know, but it was really nice to see those two playing nice with each other.
It's cute.
Because it had been so bad between them for so long, and she's like, hey, I know you better than anyone. I know that, you know, this is the way you sleep and this is what you do, and they kind of have that knowledge of each other. So it was really nice to see that their friendship is still there.
Yeah, they were being playful together and having a good time.
Yeah.
It was cute.
It was very cute. I think that about wraps up our episode, but do we have some news and gossip?
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so Missy shares on a CBC interview. She shares a story about her first kiss, and it's kind of cute because she talks about how she would on the ride home. She was so scared to have her first kiss that she would pretend to fall asleep in the car and be like asleep, so that when she would get there, she'd be like, "Oh, I'm so tired," and run away. And so she would do this a bunch of times.
That's hysterical.
And then she'd pretend to be sick. And then she said one day the guy got tired of it and she was falling asleep. And then she got out of the car and she said he literally jumped out of the car before it was even in park and slammed her against the car. She finally that's how she had her first kiss.
Oh.
And it was kind of cute. You know, it was like a cute, quick little
movie
interview.
hot moment.
Yeah.
Slammed against a car.
And you can kind of see her, and she said it was less than desirable, by the way. That kiss, it sounds good. Like, who doesn't want to be slammed against a car and kiss? But the car was probably rolling because they didn't put it in park. And so it wasn't so good. But it's kind of cute because you can see her doing that. You can see, like, you know, her sleeping and drooling and all that. So that was cute.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I have a nice interview pulled up here. Sorry for everyone who's listening. I am engineering tonight. According to nstars.com, they said the network for, Rookie Blue is obviously, it airs in Canada before USA, but it seems like it's doing better in Canada than the US airings. And the network, it says, ABC Entertainment President Pauly implied that the network is gearing up to end the series on the network, which is surprising because
like in Canada and the USA, or just the USA?
We don't know yet. Just ending. It's planning on ending the series. I mean, all good things have to, finish at
eventually,
some point.
Right.
But the thing is, they're saying that, which is very surprising because it has great numbers and it follows up after Big Brother, I believe, in the number 2 spot. So it's not like they're, suffering on that end, but it's doing well in Canada, but not as well in US, which they still need the US numbers to make decisions if they're going to keep the show going or not. But it is, Lee said later, Lee says, "We love Rookie Blue. We'd like to do more. It's really up to the production company whether they can."
Oh, interesting.
So here's the plan. Everyone who's watching, listening, or whatever you're doing, go find a friend who does not watch Rookie Blue and make them watch it with you.
Pump
Every
up those
Thursday
numbers.
night, make them watch it. Let's get these ratings up so we get our show to stay on air.
Yeah, and he
Definitely.
says, he continues, "We love Rookie Blue and are thrilled with his performance every season. We are in talks for more, but no final decision has been made about the future episodes beyond the 22 that are already ordered for season 5. And so we don't know the fate yet. But I sure hope that's not true, that they're finishing on the season. There's so much more to tell.
There's so much
There's
more.
still rookies.
The dad, we just met Jay.
I know,
We've got a lot more to go.
Well, hopefully that does not come true.
Yeah.
So
it's a great show.
Yeah. Is that?
And that is all.
Okay, so leading into our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
My first prediction is that the show will be back for a 6th season after season 5. Yay! I win!
Love that.
It's off next week, so we have a week break, and we're back July 31st. It looks like Andy, that whole rookie, the whole report on her, is coming into play when we get back. What are y'all's thoughts on this?
Well,
go for it.
Well, I want to just, even this episode, I was like, I want to know about Chris.
Yeah.
It was hard to skip a episode
Yeah, we
without
really didn't see him tonight.
Yeah, I want that. I'm dying to find out. So I don't know if I have a specific prediction, but I want to know more about Chris.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk about Andy's case that's going on because people are now going to find out that she left very certain details out of reports that's going to bite her. However, I don't think she's going to get suspended
I don't think she'll lose
because
her
she's
badge.
already been suspended already. I'm not sure the protocol of how many times you can get suspended, but however, I do, because I want to think positive. I do think she's gonna beat this case and she's gonna win, because Duncan still doesn't have a strong case in my opinion.
Unless there's a twist, which as far as predictions go, I will say with Duncan, I still feel like there's a twist, a big one.
Yeah. Duncan, I don't know what his case is really against Andy, like what specifics he's told people. Like I'm interested to hear his side of the story, because even in his side of the story, like regardless of her leaving things out, she still repeatedly had to tell Duncan specifically like what to do, how to do it, for longer than it should have taken. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with her trial, but I know that the previews always try to trick me. I'm not going to fall for that this time. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, I mean, Andy cannot be taken down by Duncan.
No. And it's the error of omission. She did not lie, actually, didn't she? Just didn't tell everything, right? Like, she lied because she didn't include everything. She was protecting him, but did she lie or just not say everything?
I think she did say that she made things sound better than they were.
Right.
So she might have, like, twisted things.
She might have used fancy words to make things sound
to help him out. I mean, I guess that's wrong, just as wrong as lying to hurt someone, I guess.
Well, guys, let us know what you think. We won't be back next week because the show's off, but make sure you tweet and all that stuff at us. Where can they find you on social media?
I'm at Twitter at Yvonne Maisonette.
And I'm on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
And I'm at both of those things at the Tiona Hobson. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and we will see you on July 31st.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.